Here live in the studio, Justin Hinds and the Dominoes. We're going to be talking to them in just a sec. Thought we'd go back to 1962 and Justin Hinds and the Dominoes. Carry, Go, Bring, Come. They're playing tonight at the First Avenue main room. And what do you know? I saw my friend the General here this afternoon, a little Memorial Day barbecue. Next thing you know, he shows up here with Justin Hinds. How'd you pull that, man?
Well, a little bit of work, a few phone calls here and there, some nice people helping us out on the way.
You guys are old mates then, or?
We go way back.
Way back. So how you guys doing?
Well, we're doing good. It was good to be here,
Thanks for coming, Justin. Why don't you introduce your friends over here? I believe that's your son.
Yes, that's Carlton. He plays percussion, and then my friend Shannon, the left there, is living right here in Minneapolis here.
You live here, really?
Yes.
How do you know these guys?
For a long time. In Jamaica. Living in Jamaica,
So you're from Jamaica?
They took care of me and showed me the ropes of the island. So, respect due.
Well, thanks for coming down, guys. I think the General had kind of a "This Is Your Life" synopsis of Justin Hinds. For those who don't know, Justin Hinds.
For those who don't know, for those who are interested, by the way, Justin Hinds and the Dominoes will be performing this evening at First Avenue in the main room. The band will be going on stage at approximately 10 o'clock. There will be no opening band.
No opening band?
No
okay.
opening band. It's a 21 and older show, but I know it's been a big, long holiday weekend for people, and if you're just cruising on back from the North Country and you're looking for something fun to do, this band will be performing at First Avenue. And yes, indeed, born in 1942 in Steertown, in the parish of St. Anne's, Jamaica, Justin Hinds had a string of huge hits during the ska and rocksteady era of the 1960s. It all started with his first record, Carry Go Bring Home, which we just heard, which was recorded back in 1962 for Duke Reed and his Treasure Isle label, along with Dennis Sinclair and Junior Dixon, who made up the Dominoes. Some of their other hits included The Higher the Monkey Climbs, Botheration, Rub Up, Push Up, Over the River, Cornerstone, and many, many more. Radio K is honored to have as our special in-studio guest before his performance this evening, again at First Avenue in the main room. Here is Justin Hinds.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure to be here, once again,
Well, a quick question here to start, because I host a show called Rude Radio on Saturday mornings where we take a look at the three waves of ska, and I spend a lot of time on the first period, the roots of ska. So I ask you, Justin, please take us back to those early days and describe us the mood in newly independent Jamaica back in 1962.
Well, you see, in those days, the music was like diamond, you know, like when one record a song and it's like, you know, it's treasure for the people, because in those days the music was more deep roots and culture, you know, and it was positive vibration because it was coming straight from the heart of the Rastamans, and which was so deep in love, with peace and love. So from right there we started to work.
Cool. And I'm curious to know, how did you first come in contact with Duke Reed?
Well, in my young days, I used to work for the water sport concession, you know.
What's
I
that?
used to work for the water sport enterprise, and there was
Uh-huh.
a concession taking place in Ocho Rice. There was a guy the name of Ernest Matt. He was the one that run this, and he used to have a lot of cruise boat, and then I used to be on the beach teaching people to scuba diving. I used to do a little skin diving, and you know, I used to do everything in the water sport. And there was a guy the name of Charlie Babcock. He used to work for a radio station they called the RJR, and he's a Canadian. They call him CB, the cool fool with the live jive. That's the man, you know. And then he left from Kingston, and he came on the North Coast, and he was down here for a while working for the hotel. And then they decided to have a party one night on a boat they called the Top Idea. So I went there, and you know, they used to listen to me sing. So he said to me, listen to me, tonight is the night when you have to sing for these people on the boat, you know. So I decided, and I sing, and you know, they enjoy me, and they said, oh, you should go to Kingston to see the Duke. So I didn't take him seriously. It was the first day, it was like on the Sunday, it was the party the Sunday night, the Monday he said the same thing to me. The Tuesday, okay, I decided to go to Kingston to see Duke. So I went to Kingston to see Duke. When I went to town, Sir Coxon's, which is Studio One, it used to be on Orange Street, and I went first on Orange Street to talk to Sir Coxon. And then I was a little late. I was talking to him, and he was driving away his car. So I leave, and I went back to see Duke now. And in those days, you have to make a long line, you know, like people have to line up along, I would call it the sidewalk, we call it the pazer, you know.
Uh-huh.
And they would give you a audition, like they would say next, you know.
It was
and
like an
then-
audition?
Yes, and
Mhm.
then
I was going to ask that because a lot of the different guys did that for
Yes.
many years.
and then when he said next, you'd come up and sing, and he would say to you, okay, well, you're not ready for this, you should go back to trade. And you know, and say next, and he said, well, you should go back to school, you know. And he said next, you should, this is not your line, you should go and learn carpenter. He said next, you should go and learn, you know, mason.
Everything but singing, right?
Yes. And then my term, I was a little scared, you know.
Yeah.
And he said to me to sing. I didn't want to sing, so he said, you're not going to sing on this page. I said, no. And he said, okay. So I went to a place they call Bacawal now. That's where they call the Tivoli Garden today. And I met, run into Lord Creator, Wilfred Edwards, and all those guys was there. But there was a Rastaman, the name of Bongo Noel. He was one of the elder dread in Kingston in those days. And they was playing Ayabingi, chanting some revival songs, and then I started playing the bingi. But they, these Rastaman, they asked me where I'm from, and I tell them I'm from the country. Well, there was a guy there that used to hang out at Duke Reed place at Bond Street, and he listened to me, and he went back to Duke and tell Duke, you know, the guy that was here from the country, he can certainly do it. So Duke say, go and bring him over.
He hadn't heard you sing at that point.
No.
Mhm.
So Duke sent for me. I went over to the studio now, and he said to me, what's the name of your song? And I said to him, Carry Go Bring Come Bring Misery. And he said, okay. Person I happened to see was Baba Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I happened to see a guy. Second guy was Delivers
Thelonious.
Beckford, yes.
And that was the house band in the
Yes,
studio?
And
Okay.
Tommy McCook was there, and
Wow.
you know, Dan Jumans, Roland Alfonso, and Brevet, and the Scatterlights, Lord Nips, and
So all those original recordings, the whole first round, were with basically the Scatolites.
yes.
Were you nervous then?
Well, I'm a country boy come to town, you know, for the first time, you know, I was a little shaky, but then I was still there, you know.
Uh-huh.
And he said to me, well, I should sing the song for them, and I sing the song Cargo Bring Come, and they said, well, okay, tomorrow he's going to take you down to the Federal Recording Studio.
Mm-hmm.
And we went down there. It was on a Thursday, and in those days it was only one mic we have to sing. And
Really?
one of the dominoes, he was pretty short, and we have to put him on a box to reach the mic, and then this guy said to me, Jukri, that this will be your first time in the studio, and now he's going to sing with the Scatterlights. And then Tommy said to me, you've never sing with a band before? I said, no. He said, okay, well, when we blow and Danjaman take this introduction, and when he's finished, you get in the music, and when you're out of your verse or whatsoever, then he's going to blow the solo for you, and when he's finished blow, then you go back.
Then
So
you go back to sing.
yes, then the first one, the Duke said to me, you don't have to make the second one.
Uh-huh.
For it was a hit.
So the first take, it was
Yes,
there.
yes.
Put it on wax.
Yes.
That's great.
And it became a top hit.
Yes.
Mhm.
There you go, bring home.
And we just heard it now. What is
Yes.
it? 30, 40 years later?
Yes, yes. Yes.
What do you have up there?
We got a track. We're gonna play another one of your hits called "The Higher the Monkey Climbs." Any story on this one?
Well, in Jamaica, we always said if someone want to expose themselves, they go high, and then everyone can see you. It's like if you climb a tree, if you're down on the ground, no one will see you. But if you go up in the treetop and make nice, everybody will see you.
Everybody will see you. Did you have to climb the trees then for people
No.
to notice you?
No, well, I don't have to. People just hear me and they know I'm there.
Yeah. So how old were you when you recorded this tune? It was around that
Well,
same time?
No, coming up in 18.
18, 19?
Yes.
Still youngin' then.
Yes.
We're going to play this now and talk more with Justin Hinds. Thanks for coming, Justin. This is The Higher the Monkey Climbs on 770 Radio K.
The higher the monkey climbs, is the more he exposed. The higher the monkey climbs, the more he exposed. The higher the monkey climbs, is the more he exposed. I'm not tracing nor complaining, I'm just going. He that exalted himself shall be abased. Grief always comes to those who love to brag the most. Meekly wait and murmur not, you better hold on to what you have got. The higher the monkey climbs, is the more he exposed. He that exalted himself shall be abased. Grief always comes to those who love to brag the most. Meekly wait and murmur not, you better hold on to what you have got. The higher the monkey climbs, is the more he exposed. I'm not a tracing nor complaining, I'm just coming.
we're skanking here in the studio here, 770 Radio K, about 20 minutes to 8, and Justin Hinds and the Dominoes and Cornerstone, a classic, a tune I first heard Bob Marley's version of that song. But were you the first to do that song?
Yes, I was the first to do that song. I was before Bob Marley, so I was the first.
Yeah, you were the first at everything.
Actually, I'm one of the godfather of this beat music.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, it's interesting for the fact that one of the CDs, a very popular early ska CD, is called The Birth of Ska, and Justin has like 2 or 3 songs on the disc. So respect due totally for, the forefathers of the music.
Thanks, Justin.
It's a pleasure.
But you were one of the rare Jamaican artists who actually showed a great deal of loyalty to Duke Reed.
Yes.
And, I've talked about Duke Reed, but I don't know too many people that really knew him. What was he like to work with?
Well, Duke Reed is a good man. Duke Reed have a lot of fans behind him, and for one reason, because of he loved the people, and he have his sound system, and he have to get across the nation. So he have 5 big sound system, and he have a liquor store, a record store, and I would say the massive is behind him, and they are poor people. And what he do, he help them in one way, because he didn't have money to give to them in cash. So what he did, he give them his sound system, he give them liquor, and he tell them, go down the road, rent a place, and you owe some debt to pay, bring back my money for my liquor, and all the rest is yours. And he was a good man, but when it come to the music now, in studio, he's very serious. He carries 2 guns. He carry a long gun and a shotgun, see? And
why?
because he's a sheriff. He's a sheriff. He's
He was a
he's
sheriff,
a
he's a
police,
cop.
Oh, okay.
He's a cop.
Mm-hmm.
And because of he tried to keep, I would say his follower, he tried to keep them in order of keep them away from trouble. So he'll do everything to help them, to keep them away from trouble, And but when it come in the studio right now, there are 2 big sound in this country, in Jamaica. It was Duke Reed and Sir Coxsone. We have a backline music. That means, as you work today, this morning in the studio, and you make a song, it's going to be playing in the dance hall tonight. And then when you're working with him, you have to make sure you play the music from your heart, because he loves music. But Duke Reed is a good man.
Yeah, Duke, he had his recording studio upstairs from the liquor store.
Yes.
And apparently the studio itself was made entirely of wood, so it had a really warm sound to it. And again, he recorded with a lot of the different members of the original Scotalites. Don Drummond. What was it like playing with Don Drummond?
Well, it's good to play with Dan. Is one thing about Dan, he don't talk. He talk to his trombone.
And Tommy McCook and Drumbongo Parks, who pushed that faster ska beat that kept the whole thing going.
Yes, yes.
That was great.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, we were talking during the break about sort of the upsurge of reggae music in popularity, not only in Europe, but over here in the States. And one thing I've noticed about you is you haven't really changed your style through the years. You've incorporated other styles, but you've sort of stayed true to what you originally started doing.
Yeah, because I can afford to change that. That is the original.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you cannot change from the original thing and try to emphasize to do other things around it. Just like the music changes, the music lost its spirituality right now.
Mm-hmm.
The music is not understanding anymore because the message is not there anymore. You see, it's good to rap. There's a lot of rapper now, DJs and things like that, but the Rastaman vibration have a message, which is a positive vibration, I said before, to all nations, no matter what color, creed, or race you may be.
Mm-hmm.
One love, one art, one destiny, and we're focused on redemption,
Mm-hmm.
And you have the younger generation that's talking about slackness and talking about wars and gun and fire, and we're not into those things. We were coming from a spiritual point of view. The music was there,
Mm-hmm.
So what we're trying to do now is we're trying to bring back the music to the younger generation, because we need for them now to listen to what we was offering in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that is the right sound of Jamaica music roots and culture.
And I think there's a lot of younger people now just finding out about the original sound and wanting to hear that, and it's great. You're staying true to what you started doing.
Yes, even Europe right now, they are calling for me right now in Europe because of the music. The music changes so rapidly, but when they check the music out, the student in the university, they realize that the music not educating them,
Mm-hmm.
so they have to go back to the roots.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right on.
Well, don't forget, Justin Hinds and the Dominoes will be performing this evening at First Avenue in the main room. It's 21 and older show. They're going to be hitting the stage around 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So Rudy's out there. You can step it up real high and then still actually get to sleep tonight.
And Justin told us the show sold out in Madison last
Yes,
night.
I tell you something. It was something to speak of.
Yeah.
The people, they enjoy that show. They bring me back on stage maybe 5 times.
They wouldn't let you leave. You'd still be there if.
Yes, they didn't want me to
So
leave.
a challenge to the Minneapolis crowd. Let's sell out First Avenue tonight. And you got your whole family down, as I understand, playing in
Yes.
the band now.
Well, actually, most of us is a family band I have right
Mhm.
now. I have my daughter, the eldest, really playing lead guitar. She's not here right now.
Right.
And Andrea, I would say my third daughter, she's here. She's harmony. And Carlton is right here in the studio with me.
Carlton's
with
representing.
percussion. Yes, and Jerome, known as Maxwell, he's going to be on the strap drum tonight, And Sylvian's my cousin, going to be harmony with me tonight also. And it's going to be something. We're going to put it on tonight, man.
Yeah, it's a family affair.
Yes.
2 other legendary musicians are also
And
playing in the
yes,
band as well.
We have Deadly Headley,
No way.
Yes, and we also have Dandy Jr. known as Vin Garden. These guys who play with Bob Marley
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
Jimmy
Vinny
Cliff.
played trombone with him. Yeah.
So I have 2 of the living legend with me tonight,
Yeah, man.
Very cool.
And that was an interesting thing because when you performed here in town just a couple of years ago, it was great. You've been here now a few times now over the last couple of years. We've been very fortunate for that. And I was shocked to hear the sound of your voice when you first came back because it sounded just like it did on the original records.
Like a 17-year-old?
Exactly. Tell us your secret, Justin. Tell us your
How
secret.
do you stay so young?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I do a lot of exercise. I live in the water,
Uh-huh.
And,
Underwater?
I live, actually, I'm in this ocean swimming. Actually, I do a lot of exercise.
Yeah.
In the water. And I don't bleach if I don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I don't smoke more than so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
and try to keep fit, And the things that you eat, I eat a lot of greens, veg. I'm more a vegetarian,
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't force to eat when I don't want to. I feed when I need it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right on.
There it is.
He's staying fit.
Fit Hiafi Fit.
In fine form this evening. Should you play another tune
Absolutely.
and maybe come back and wrap it up here?
Yes.
Thanks so much for coming down, guys.
It's a pleasure.
What do we got here, Brad?
Botheration.
Botheration. I was going to try to get him to sing. Maybe we'll do that a little later on. What do you think?
Botheration, oh yes, botheration there. Botheration, oh yes, botheration there. The people them a ball, botheration there. Tomorrow when we gone, botheration there. Oh, botheration there. Oh, botheration there. I live from east to west, botheration there. I move from north to south, botheration there. So everywhere I go, botheration there. Too much confusion in the city. Too much botheration on the land. The people them a ball, botheration there. Tomorrow when we gone, botheration there. Oh, botheration there. Oh, botheration there. Too much confusion in the city. Too
moderation on the land. People them a ball, moderation there. Tomorrow when we gone, moderation there. Oh, moderation there. Oh, moderation there. I leap from east to west, moderation there. I move from north to south, moderation there. So everywhere I go, moderation
Rub Up and Push Up. Justin Hinds and the Dominoes. And once again, Justin Hinds playing tonight at the First Avenue main room. Having a little fun with the headphones over there.
Yes.
Thanks. And we got the gang down here today, this evening. Thanks so much for coming. It's and telling us such wonderful stories. And it's just an honor to have you down here and have you guys play tonight at First Ave.
The pleasure, man, to be here, you know.
Yeah, it's I unfortunately missed the last time you were here. And I have to go tonight, so
You better don't miss it
I'll
tonight,
be there
I tell ya.
skanking with the best of them. A really great evening of ska and reggae and rock steady and lovers rock, and Justin does just about everything with his great band tonight.
Also, coming up tomorrow night down at First Avenue, Club 2 for 1, sponsored by Radio K and Toast Magazine. Tomorrow night, I General Moses, along with Paul Harding, host of Radio K International, will be down there. We'll be spinning the Global Groove, starting early, about 9 o'clock, going well into the evening. So come early.
A sound system
Stay
of our
late.
own tomorrow night.
Absolutely. The Global Groove tomorrow night down at First Avenue with Club 2 for 1.
Very cool. Well, thanks for bringing the gang down here.
My pleasure.
I'm going to try to get Justin to do a little singing for us. Are you up for it?
Yes, what do you want me to sing for you now?
I don't know. Any requests?
Almond? Well, what I've queued up, I have a classic tune.
I could do a line for you if you want me to.
Yeah? Fire.
Let's hear it.
Which one of the songs do you want me to sing for you?
Should we do Almond Tree?
Lying under the almond tree, when the friend wind whispered to me, voices calling from the shining sea, telling me to stay on and on and on and on, stay on, stay on. the gentle breeze of the mountain around. Yes, the gentle fields of the fertile ground. All call with the same old sound, telling me to stay on and on and on and on.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
You still got it. Justin Hinds, thanks so much for coming down.
It's a pleasure.
And once again, we'll see you tonight at First Avenue.
Yes, for sure.
And we're going to leave with an old classic recording of Almond Tree. It's Justin Hinds and the Dominoes.
Lying under the almond tree, when the friendly wind whispered to me, voices calling from the shining sea, telling me to stay on and on and on and on. Stay on. The gentle breeze of the mountain around. Yes, the gentle fields of the fertile ground. All call with the same old song, telling me to stay on and on and on. Stay on, stay on. I must leave, and when I go, yes, I leave with you, my love to go. When I return to that almond tree, your true lover I will see. Yes, I will be. Yes, I will be. I will be. Yeah. Gentle breeze of the mountain around. Yes, the gentle fields of the fertile ground. All call with the same old song, telling me to stay on and on. Stay on, stay on. Stay on, stay on, stay on. I must leave, and when I go, yes, I leave with you, my love to go. When I return to that almond tree, your true lover I will be. Yes, I will be. Yes, I will be. I will be. Yeah. Yes, I will be. 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 I will be. Yes, I will be. I will be. Yeah. Yes, I will be.
This is Kung Fu, taking you on a musical review. With John Saxon and Bruce Lee, enter the track.